Hello everyone, it's Rory Pratt from Pratt's Pods. Today, I did some before pictures, but today I am looking at an iPhone 8. So this has had, I always go on about this at the moment, and this iPhone 8, let me get this up steady. This iPhone 8 here has had the rear housing replaced for a cheap, nasty aftermarket one. We keep trying to tell people not to have these done. Just trying to get this camera in a decent place. Sorry, excuse the shakiness for a moment. So this is the reason why we shouldn't have aftermarket housings fitted. So I've just warmed this up just to actually get it so I can get this back glass off, and I've opened it up as well. But basically it came in, it was a bit like that. So only a tiny bit loose, but you put a little bit of heat on it, pretty much pull it off like this. So that is absolute crap. So if you see how this is stuck down, the aftermarket housings, we have a tiny thin layer of adhesive, tiny layer of adhesive. Like literally, that's how they can expect that to keep the back glass on an iPhone. I have no idea. So what I'm going to do is, this is an aftermarket housing. I don't like working with aftermarket housings, but because the customer's been screwed by another local repairer, because obviously they're not going to take responsibility for fitting an aftermarket housing, I'm going to see if I can do this without actually taking more out of the phone than I need to, but I think I might have to take the whole phone apart. Oh, there you go, because the camera obviously just pretty much falls straight off of that. So yeah, I'm going to replace this glass because while I was just lifting it there, we've got a tiny little scratch in it. So basically, I mean, there's not even any adhesive left around the frame here. All just come off with that glass, nice and easy. Absolutely ridiculous how anyone could fit one of these housings, and this is what we keep going on about, how anyone could fit one of these housings. You're putting a lot of faith in cheapskate suppliers. So I'm going to put glue around here, I'm going to fit a new back glass on there. Really annoyed why people think a full housing, aftermarket housing at that. I mean, a full original housing, yeah, that's fine. But you fit aftermarket housings, you are really screwing people over. So I'm just going to find, this is where I'll find out that I'm out of gold rear glasses. Here we go. So I do have one here, gold rear housing. So this is going to get fitted. I mean, you can see the difference between these. This is classed as original. This is the cheap nasty one, different colour. The original has this sort of white border around it. So I'm going to see how I can get this in there without removing stuff I don't need to. I think I might have to start removing stuff. So I'm just going to remove a few little screws out of this housing quickly. See if I can do this without having to remove the whole motherboard. So obviously we don't want to have to remove everything. You can see here as well, we've got a screw that's only halfway in because the hole's not big enough in here, so that's stuck in. This screw here is stuck in as well. I get so wound up by people that don't know what they're doing, rounding off screws. There you go, that screw's out. I mean, there's just no excuse for it, to be honest. If you claim you know what you're doing and claim that you can do these things, then bloody do them right. Always telling people that rear glass only is much better because you know that you're doing the job right. You're not relying on cheap, nasty parts. Yes, I mean, by all means, it may cost that a little bit more. Maybe, I don't know. I don't tend to shop around. I just give prices that make repairs worth my while, that I think are fair. So, get rid of that antenna. I can get rid of this bracket here. There you go. That should just about do it for me. So what I'll do is I will put some tape over these to make sure they don't get covered in glue, and then I'll glue a new back on. I will be very, I can't think of the word, but I won't use much glue because the phone's still in one piece. If I ever do glass only replacements on iPhones, we do take every single part out of the phone to make sure none of it gets damaged. On this instance, that back glass pretty much fell off, so we're just here to help this customer out after being screwed by another local repairer. Here I'm just trying to put a bit of tape over these so they don't get schmoozed. Just going to check that this is going to fit in there before I go ahead and do anything. That microphone's still kind of in the way. So, yeah, there you go. I'll get that in there alright. Without removing everything. Just need a bit of tweaking here and there. That'll be fine. So, we can put some glue around it. Once again, not loads, but not too little either. We don't want this seeping into the phone, onto any of the components. So first, we do one big swoop around the edge. Then we work our way around and we do a full circle around the wireless charger. So in a way, I mean, we don't tell people that these are waterproof, but they probably are. We just don't want to be held responsible for that. So here as well, if you look here, whoever put this housing together knew that that wasn't enough tape, so they've put this tiny, tiny strip of adhesive here. Absolute crap. So, carry that on there. There you go. That's more than enough. So I'll get this rear glass put on there now. And because it's quite late in the day, the customer won't get this phone back today, but they'll get it back tomorrow morning. And it won't be a case of having to go anywhere ever again to have this sorted. It will be sorted, guaranteed by us. If she has any problems, if that glass comes loose, however much I doubt it, we will be here to sort it out, because we know that these things shouldn't happen, these things shouldn't go wrong. So that was quite nice. Don't really have any glue seeping out, not majorly, so I'd say that's perfect. I'm going to get that all clamped. I mean, this is nothing like your standard iPhone 8 rear glass replacement, because that old rear glass was the cheapest shit I've ever seen. It's got next to no bend on it. So that's it, I'm going to get that clamped. It'll be ready for our customer to pick up in the morning. So once again, I'm just going to reiterate, please, please, please do not let somebody use a cheap aftermarket rear housing on your iPhone. These iPhones aren't cheap. They're not the most expensive ones, obviously, with the new ones that will come out, but they're not cheap. There's no excuse for having something like this fitted that's just going to fall off, especially if someone's telling you they're waterproof when they're not. Just be really wary where you go to have your phones repaired, because there's a big difference between quality and price. You go for the cheapest quotes, you will get the cheapest crap. Go to someone that knows what they're doing. Not necessarily me, there's plenty of companies that do the repairs this way. Go to any of them. I don't necessarily want your money. I just want to know that you're being well looked after, not having crap like this fitted. So that's Rory Pratt from Pratt's Pods and Micro Soldering Repairs. Please feel free to get in touch if you have any questions.